Good afternoon. I thought we would go back and read that Devo from yesterday and then talk about flying turtles. I'm back from the dermatologist. I had that appointment yesterday. No skin cancer. That's awesome. He did freeze the spot on my head. I feel like he didn't do it hard enough. Normally when they freeze something, they like hold the whatever it is that freezes like so long on there it almost burns, and then you end up with this like almost like a scab, and then whatever it is falls off. He just barely sprayed and it doesn't hurt or anything, so I don't even know if this thing's gonna come off. And then he sprayed this one too, but it looks perfectly fine. Like I mean it's redder and stuff, but I'm not convinced that's gonna come off. Like I feel like he didn't do a good job with the freezing tool. But anyway, he said neither of them were skin cancer, so that's awesome. And then he said that I could wait to do my removal of my thing here. And then this was just like a dark spot, like an age spot, but he wanted to freeze that too. I didn't know you could freeze age spots. I was like, no, let's not. Because it kind of stopped him, because I was like, that's so big. I don't want that big of a scar on my face. Or like a scab. So he said, watch it, and if it changes at all, to go in. But he said it's just I'm getting a text. Just like a dark circle, like an age spot, sort of. But I don't know why he wanted to freeze it, unless he thought maybe it wasn't. But he was fine when I was like, no, let's not. I was like, what are you going to freeze off? It's flat skin, nothing's there. And then he didn't do it. But anyway, this was a different dermatologist than I normally see. And then everything cosmetic that I could have addressed, I just skipped. I'm like, I'll deal with cosmetic stuff later. I wanted to only deal with the ones that, since it was my annual skin cancer check, I wanted to deal with the ones that I thought could potentially be skin cancer. And he said they're totally not. So all clear with the dermatologist. But anyway, so let's read this devotional. It's called Settling for Mud Pies. Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us, to him be glory in the church by Christ Jesus. Ephesians 3:20 through 21. Sometimes our thankfulness... Oh, I forgot to set my timer. Hold on. I gotta set my timer or I'll overtalk. Sometimes our thankfulness fades when we look at what other people have. Have you ever felt envious, maybe even shortchanged? At those times, we can be grateful that God has so much more for us than even what our neighbor may be enjoying. In The Weight of Glory, C.S. Lewis wrote... These Christians love C.S. Lewis. It's so funny. They talk about C.S. Lewis all the time. In The Weight of Glory, C.S. Lewis wrote, "We are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. When we struggle to give thanks, maybe we are trying to muster up gratitude for mud pies when he gives us the opportunity to thank him for vacations at the beach. Yes, we can thank God for many concrete blessings and for the various ways he clearly provides, protects, and answers prayers. But how often do we offer thanks because he gives us patience, helps us see people with eyes of compassion, or grants us hope through circumstances, though circumstances are difficult? May God open our eyes to all he grants to those he loves. I am grateful, Lord, for the blessings you bestow. Your gifts are always the best." Okay, so I don't love that devotional, but the name Settling for Mud Pies reminds me of this thing about flying turtles that this guy, Vernon McGee, talks about. I was writing on myself here, just ignore that. When I have an ache or pain, I draw on myself and then I can track where it is. with permanent marker. One time I drew myself on my shoulder so I could show the physical therapist where my ache and pain was. And then I happened to have a physical like the next day, so the permanent marker was still all over, and my doctor was like, she's looking at my eye, she's like, what's going on here? And I was just explaining that I drawn myself with permanent marker to mark where I have an owie, so I can, if I need to show somebody. But anyway, we're off topic. So this guy, Vernon McGee, who I am not a fan of, I think he's a super fundamentalist Christian, which I am not. But anyway, he's got this app called Through the Bible, and he's on YouTube. And once I was in a Bible study where we were going through Romans, right? And the lady really liked Vernon McGee. And so we had to listen to Vernon McGee read through Romans. And I did not like this guy. This guy was like rubbing me the wrong way. Like every word he spoke, I couldn't handle the sound of his voice even. He was so annoying to me. However, I was doing my good job with the Bible study. I was going through it anyway. And one time though, he had this story, which was awesome. And it was worth it to keep listening because I have used this story that he talks about repeatedly when talking to people about like Jesus. And it's the best story ever. So props to Vernon McGee, even though I'm not a fan, like that's the best story ever. And so, anyway, so how he explains it is, and I don't remember which section of his Romans videos it is, but I don't know if it's probably in the beginning half, but, he talks about turtles in the mud, kind of like in this devotional, they were like mud pies in the slum, right? Similar. So you got a bunch of turtles. They just love hanging out in the mud. It's so slimy. It feels good. You know, it's like squishy and they just love it down there. They just like roaming around and like enjoying each other in the mud. And it's just awesome for them. Then they're perfectly happy being turtles in that slimy mud. And then you might have a flying turtle. So this is supposed to be like the person who like, then they're like, you know, they get saved, born again, they've got new life, and all of a sudden this turtle can fly, right? And so this turtle who has lived the life in the mud is now flying and is experiencing different things that you experience when you fly, and can like see things from other perspectives, and like can look down at the other turtles and like see them, and can go up and down. It's not like the turtle can't go back down, you know. It's like the turtle, it has so much more potential now because it can fly. It can be a really regular turtle in the mud, and it can also fly. So the turtle will be like saying to his friends, hey, you know, I can fly, you know, you can fly. Let's try flying. Come fly with me, right? And the other turtles are like, no, we want nothing to do with it. We are good here in the mud. We're going to just stay here in the mud, and we're enjoying ourselves, you know, all slippery and slimy in the mud. And we don't even like want to think about flying. Plus you're crazy. We can't fly. And it's just, they like resist. And the turtle's like, come on, be a flying turtle with me. And he's trying to like get the people to come along and just see, come and see, right? Come and see what it's like. It's not like you can't come back here to the mud. You can, but come and see. Now you can fly too. Come see. And it's difficult because the flying turtle just wants to show them what it's like to be flying turtles. And the people in the mud are like, we good here. They want nothing to do with it. And it's so symbolic of like exactly what Christianity is like. And the flying turtle is like, you don't even know what you're missing. Like, can you just give it a minute? Just try, right? And the people are like, you're a lunatic, right? Turtles don't fly. And so I talk about this story a lot because it's so perfect. And the problem though with being a flying turtle, then if you're the only flying turtle, if everybody you know is in the mud and you're the only flying turtle, then you're alone. You kind of really want, let me get my other flying turtle buddy who can fly with me, right? We can go up and down, we can go back to the mud, but let's fly together, right? You're always looking for, who's my buddy flying turtle? Where are my other flying turtle friends? Let's have community and fellowship with my other flying turtle friends, because now it's like a whole new world. And then if you're going to be in a relationship, who's my partner? Who's my partner that's a flying turtle with me? You're not going to want to settle. It's like this, settling for the mud pies. You're not going to want to settle for somebody who can't fly. And for somebody who's just always saying to you, no, 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 come down here in the mud with me. Let's just hang out and be intimate together here in the mud. It's so slippery, it's so slimy, it feels so good. Come down. Because now the flying turtle's like, I'm not saying the mud doesn't feel good, but it's so much better to fly. And I'm stuck here. I have to leave you here to go fly again. Right? And that's why you can't have people who are unequally yoked, right? You can't have like Christian, not Christian together. It just does not work out. Regardless how much that person is saying, oh, but the mud feels so good. The mud feels so good. You're like, yeah, I know. I've been in the mud. I get what the mud feels like. You don't know what it's like to be a flying turtle. Can you give it a shot here with me? And then we can do both. And it's just like the story of like my life becoming a Christian. But so props to Vernon McGee and his story about the flying turtles, because it's so dead on with what it is like being a Christian for me. And so now I'm not saying you should go listen to Vernon McGee, and I'm not saying the Through the Bible app is the way to learn about Christianity, because it's only for certain people who like that fundamentalist kind of stuff. But he did have one good story, so I really like that. But anyway, that's what this devotional reminded me of, because she talks about settling for mud pies, and that's just, it's like you can't settle. After being a flying turtle, you only want to be with, if you're going to be like in a relationship, you only want to be with people who are other flying turtles. And that's really hard for the turtles in the mud to understand, because that's all they know is being in the mud, you know. So anyway, that is all my only story I have for today. Talk to you later.